big story overseas tonight continues to be the showdown in Pakistan between government forces and Taliban insurgents entrenched in the rough terrain north of the capital city. All this has triggered a humanitarian crisis. Hundreds of thousands of Pakistani civilians struggling to get out of the way of this. And with the latest, our chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel here in our New York studios. This couldn't be more urgent right now.
It is a developing situation, Brian. The reports we've been gathering from Pakistan indicate a growing feeling of desperation as refugees struggle to try and escape an escalating war zone outside Islamabad.
Tens of thousands of refugees today piled in and on top of buses as caravans choke the roads out of the Swat Valley. The refugees, mostly farmers, carried whatever they could: bedding, clothing, even chickens and goats. Tonight, Pakistan's Prime Minister Yusuf Gilani made a nationwide television address. He vowed military action to decisively drive out the Taliban from the Swat and nearby valleys, less than 100 miles from Islamabad.
The armed forces have been called in to eliminate the militants and terrorists.
As many as 800,000 people could leave Swat, but the government has no evacuation plan. With his mother and frightened son, Raj Wali Khan told NBC News there was heavy artillery fire when we left on our own, but the government hasn't done anything to help us. New York Times correspondent Dexter Filkins has been covering the growing humanitarian crisis.
They're caught between the army on one hand and the Taliban on the other. The pretty clear sense I got from them was that they blame the Taliban.
Many here blame the Taliban for imposing strict Islamic law in Swat and killing soldiers. I want the government to kill all the Taliban, said this man. In Kabul today, Defense Secretary Robert Gates said Pakistan, long accused of appeasing the Taliban, changed its position when Taliban fighters moved within miles of Islamabad last month.
I think that it has served as an alarm. These violent extremists in the western part of Pakistan are a significant danger to the government of Pakistan.
As Pakistan tonight continued shelling Swat, officials appealed for international aid for the refugees.
The Pakistani military has so far limited its offensive to attacks from the air, but today's announcement by the Pakistani government could be a signal of the start of a new phase, Brian, a ground war.
All right, we'll continue watching it. Richard Engel here with us in New York. Richard, thanks.